Robert, what are you doing? Huh? Somebody had asked me to make a video on doing Jasper. So I'm going to show you my way. I was experimenting already because Jasper is very finicky. And I wanted to make sure that I had a good piece. So, anywho. I guess we'll finish this side. I'm using an Ishii stick because this one's pretty thick, so let's see if we can do it with the camera in between our thighs here. That way we can keep you in here. So what I do is go around the whole edge and try to meet halfway. I can't get enough power because I can't get my hands and knees to lock together here. So, as you can see, that's what I'm doing. So I'm gonna finish this piece and I'll be back. Anyway, a few things I forgot to mention. As you can see, I did this side already. We're gonna have problems. Like when you get started on something like this, you want to inspect everything. Like right there's gonna be a problem. We'll worry about that later. Let's see. Got that saw mark there. That shouldn't give us any problems, but it probably will. One thing with Jasper too, you have to remember is you see all this clogged up color formation in here and stuff like that. A lot of times that stuff there doesn't like to flake. So once you pop a flake off, you're gonna wanna see how much pressure you're gonna have to put into it. And then 9 chances out of 10, it'll stop and hinge everywhere along that edge. And you can see it pretty much on this side, especially on the bottom here. Right in there. So that's something to keep an eye on. Now what I do is after I flake the face like this, I gotta do this side yet, I'll go around after I'm complete and try to pop off as much of that as I can. You want to do that because if you don't, it's going to start creating problems. Keep your tools sharp as much as possible, especially with Jasper. You don't want to use a dull tool. Okay. So what I've been doing is going around and just scratching out as much of that as possible. Don't dig in it, just remove what you can. So while I'm doing that, like right there's one, I'll get that out. Like I said, get out as much as you can. I don't worry about the ends for the majority of it, because a lot of this is going to go into the handle anyway. So I don't get too super fussy over there. All right, I'm going to try to show you some of this. As you can see, we're already starting to have problems reaching midpoint. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm getting right on that edge there. about that angle or so. And then you really got to drive them because you want this to happen. There we go. So I'm going to finish this up and then I'll be back. All right, I stopped what I was doing because I'm going to do the rest of this on the camera here. When this is finished here, this will be the end of the first part of defacing it. So what I do is I get right on that edge there, and you're going to be tilting. What I do is at the same time I'm pushing with this hand while I'm pushing with this one, so it gives me a little extra. With the legs, it just helps to like get it all together, and you just keep pushing that pressure until it finally, and if it doesn't, then you have to work it. And I've been noticing this Jasper is working really well, so I shouldn't have too many problems. Some of this stuff is incredibly hard. Okay, push in, snap off. It worked really good. And I forgot to show you that little spot we inspected earlier. I think I got it upside down. Yeah, I do. What I did was just came up behind as close as possible. See? Because I needed that spot. All right. And as you can see, we're traveling very well. And we're starting to step, like I said, right along the border of that garbage. Sometimes there's really no way to fix that. Best thing to do is just let it in. It adds character to your piece. Unless your stacks are this high. These flakes are actually traveling the whole piece. Alright, so we got a step there now. There we go. It's under my fingernail. Oh, that hurts a little bit. Still a little bit of a step there. Should be able to pop it off with the next one. As you can see, the flakes are separating, which means they're meeting that garbage. Right in there. Let's see if you can see that at home there. You can see where everything's coming undone. Okay. Don't forget to keep your ishy stick sharp. I just sharpened mine before I turned the camera on. Okay. started stacking right there. Now when we make the second pass, you can try to get that off. If you don't worry about it. Like I said, for the most part, you're going to be having at least that much into the handle, or at least I will. I don't know what the rest of you is just glue it on the edge or whatever the case, but... And like I said, you can see where the garbage is. And you can see what it's doing. So that gets trickier as you go. So you want to keep at that. So I'll be back. Alright. So what I did was I went around, picked out what I could. Don't get too deep into that because you'll just end up putting a bunch of marks on it. Like I said, for the most part, don't sweat that stuff. You're not going to get a picture perfect knife blade. You're never going to get a picture perfect knife blade unless you're so into it that it takes you days to create one. I assume if you're here, we're not those kind of people. If you do FOG, that's a completely different ball game. Now, like I said, I've been using the Yanishi stick, and I'm going to continue using it for the second pass. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and try to keep an even line as I'm picking the deltas off. So I'll show you what it looks like on the first pass, and then we'll go from there onto the final steps. Okay, so same thing applies, but a lot less pressure this time. Just go around and get all the deltas. And if you notice, I'm doing most of the work with this hand. You don't have to do it that way. And there's that little spot again. So we'll see how that works out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit right next to it on this side. Alright. Not pretty, but who gives a shit. Alright, now the deltas. Stay low on them. Push in. Light pressure. Okay. Try to get through this as quickly as possible. Some nice flakes there. Like I said, you're not pushing much. You just want enough just to feel that snap, and that's what you want. I just noticed that I blew the edge off on this side. That's how good that stuff was flaking. Incredible. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more deltas to go here yet. Just along the edge, start to even the piece out because you want to be shooting straight across the face, not up into it. Okay. Push your pressure in. let it take care of itself. And that's what your flakes should look like. If they have a bulb on them, then you're going, your angle's incorrect. Your angle should be kind of, let's see, am I doing it right? Yeah, it's straight across. Now mind you, that some Jaspers will require a great amount of pressure even on the second run. You'll know it once you start working a piece of Jasper. I had 3 previous to this that just about gave me a heart attack. No lie, that shit hurts. I know it sounds funny, but okay. See how straight the edge is now? And that's what it should look like, because when we go to make the third pass, we're going to start beveling. We're getting the edges thinner before we start doing beveling. So I'm going to finish this up off camera, and then I'll be back. Alright. As you can see, both edges are trimmed. And just about straight. Even worked on the edges. Didn't get superficial. Like I said, it's not important. At least not to me it is. Okay, now that was the second step. In the third step, now we can start using, say, something like maybe a Super Duty. I guess that's what that stands for. South Dakota, Super Duty. I don't know. But anyway, you can start using something a little bit more like this now. So now when you do, well, you know what, before we even get to that part, again, go around and inspect the piece. Look for all the loose flakes, or the fingernails, or steps, and try to remove them. This side's really good. This side's not bad either. If you look at the edge here, you're going to see all those little V's. And that's kind of what it's going to look like after the second step. First step's always beautiful, but the second step's just as equally beautiful. You can see all the V's there. So now, with this tool, and this pad, you want a wide mouth pad, that's for sure. It's important. So now you're just going to go around. Put your flaker on there. Get yourself lined up with your knees and your, well, with your knees. Because oddly enough, I still do it that way. This time, instead of pushing across the face, you're now going to push your pressure in, slightly tilt downward, and push off. See how that flake traveled? I don't know if you can or not. Let's do a couple of them, see how it looks. You'll see me on this pattern here, but when I squeeze together, everything rolls together. And then snap down. We're going to use a slightly bigger nail. See? See how it's starting to go on a curve there? All one fluid motion. Pressure, tilt the hand, tilt the piece, or the tool. Now we're back to what step one looked like. Okay, I'm going to finish this piece up and I'll be back. Okay. Now, if you take notice, step 3 looks a lot like step 1. But, if you notice, we're not flat no more. We got quite the hump in the middle. Okay. So now, step 3 is done. Step 4 is the same as step 2. Go around and take your deltas off. This should be all you need. Push in with your pressure. Snap down. And if you find things are a little difficult and you want to resort back to the Ishii stick, you can do that too. You're going to have to kind of like feel all that out yourself. Notice I'm not putting much pressure on it, especially around the tip. Just going around, click straight down. Well, kind of inward, but see how the edge looks? So I'm gonna do the rest of this and then speed this part up. Adds a little extra time to the video, gives you more of a nap. Brief moment to show you what's going on there. As you can see, we're still humped. I'm starting to get little steps here and there. Don't worry about that stuff. Don't stop and try to fiddle with it, just let it be. Okay. Now this side. Okay, you see where we are? Nice and thin. With the big hump. Yeah. Alright. Now your final steps will be pretty simple. I won't even have to show you. Just find the finest flaker you have. Go around and just look for every little dimple you can find. Or delta. And then just push it off. Not much pressure applied, not really necessary. Do that side, do this side, get the edge if you please, and then do the top on both sides. And you just keep doing that until you're thin, 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 thin. I'll be back. Alright. Anyway, the thinner you get that edge, the better. I could go much thinner, but I'm just trying to rush the video along. I apologize. You're going to see a lot of flaws. Like I said, don't worry about them. You don't get 100% out of Jasper unless you got really, really high quality, and this is not high quality. High quality would be like that stuff right in there, all the way through the whole piece. Some Jasper is just porous and rough, like this edge. Some of it's smooth and very flakeable. I've noticed that the yellow and especially the green are the worst. This is, I believe this is known as fancy Jasper. And even when you make arrowheads from it, sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But that's what your edge should look like. You can remember this guy. Yeah, that's something you're just going to have to work around. If you concentrate on that too much, you're going to end up with either a short knife or just aggravate it. Just follow the steps until the end. The end's when you can clean everything up. Alright, so what I'm going to show you now is my zigzagging. I'm going to let it up to you however you want to do yours. What I look for is not the deltas, the dimples. Flake up. Get on the edge of the next one. I'm gonna make it thick out of me, huh? Yeah. Okay. Let me try another spot. The camera here, I don't want to screw it up. Let's just start right here in the middle. Up, down, up, down. I don't use a lot of pressure and I don't dig deep. This is just my form of zigzagging. Okay. Anyway, you see where it's going. Just zigzag your whole piece like that if focus. If it's too thick, then just follow the other steps until you get it thin enough to do that, or until you feel better or not nervous about it. So anyways, once you're done with all that, then you just get yourself a real sharp, real thin flaker and just go around and straighten up. You know, you gotta be real meticulous. I guess that's the word we're looking for. Go around and clean it up. I use a horseshoe nail and then I put a straight edge on it. And then usually by the time I do the horseshoe nail on the downside, and then you flip it over and come back to this side and do the same thing. And that's when you get that super sharp edge. Alright, that's it for me. Hope everybody enjoyed this little flick. I hope you found some of the tips helpful. Sorry I didn't finish it up, but I got other things going on like usual.